where does an entrepreneur who really needs the money come and can access unsecured financing, noting, yes, there's the interest rates that they need to be aware of, noting, yes, that they may not necessarily be a member of the bank. How do they come to you, and what do you offer them as a possible solution? Elizabeth.
Thank you. For a minute, I wondered how Justice was going to answer that question. But yes, today we are in a different dispensation. Today we know that SMEs are very important. They are the cornerstone of our environment. And to be honest, if we want to grow as a country, we must be able to support them. So that is very clear, all the way from government into the private sector. But the question is, how do we support them? And to your question, yes, there is unsecured financing today. There is unsecured financing, but the question is, how prepared are you for that unsecured financing? ABSA as a bank has taken a position that we are not just lenders. Today, we pride ourselves in being able to provide financial information, but also non-financial information, which supports the SME to be able to access this funding and use it and be fruitful in that utilization much more efficiently, because some of the challenges we've seen are very many. You can take funding and to be honest, take funding to put in capex when you should have been using it for working capital. So there are very many reasons why it's important that we have the two parts together. And on different forums, we've also partnered with Gracia Machel Fund as well, to be able to say, for women, how do we prepare them so that they can be able to have conversations with the bank? And the reason why I say this is because, when you come into the bank, we've already prepared you if you have re-engaged with us. To the point I mentioned earlier, we are open to this conversation around preparation. So we'll typically ask you for your statements. We'll typically ask you whether it's the M-Pesa statements, whether it is your SACCO statements, whether it is your normal bank statements. Show us a view of how your money goes in and out. Now, the reason why it's important that that comes through is because then we begin to see whether you have the ability to repay the facility that you're asking for. And the reason why we prepare you for that is because if we don't see the ins and outs of your money, we don't know where your money is going. Because typically SMEs tend to receive money and quickly pay it out without having a conduit where the money is acknowledged, meaning in the bank statements or on the M-Pesa or in the SACCO statements, wherever it is that you actually bank your money. So it is really important that that comes through. With that information, you're able to come to the bank. They quickly assess you and say, great, even as a new customer, you are eligible for this amount of money based on your statements. If you require more than the unsecured limit that we normally offer, then we'll be saying typically we can only give you up to 6 million shillings. Anything beyond that, you need to secure it. And this is the kind of security that you need. For people who are buying vehicles, this is a kind of security. Your vehicle becomes a security. If you're looking for a mortgage, this is your security that you can use. If, for instance, you have shares, to the point that you have mentioned earlier on, you can use those shares to secure it. So there are very many ways of being able to get funding. Today, with unsecured funding, there's a possibility. Again, it is important to provide a profile of what it is that you do those financing. Sometimes it is important to be open and honest, because when we have an open and honest conversation, we also profile you in the right space. And should there be a problem with that industry, then we come proactively and say, perhaps it's an opportunity for us to re-engage, restructure the facility and move forward. Case in point, for instance, when we had scenarios where taxes have increased. When taxes increase, we do know repayments become a problem. A lot of tenants, for instance, the real estates were not willing to pay the increased rents. So people who borrowed to provide, to put up buildings are struggling because they can't increase rent. People are not going to pay this. So it's a whole cycle. But the truth is, we're able to reach out to them and say, look, we know the struggles. Come, let's have a conversation about elongating the tenure of your facility. So unsecured facilities is there. I'm hoping that your partner, whoever your date was able, was able to get the information. Unsecured facilities is there more than ever today. I think the question is it the right one for you? Are you clear on what you want to use it for? The terms of engagement are absolutely clear. Figure out your risks. Come, let's have a conversation about mitigating your risks. and then plug into the programs for training, because we at ABSA have a business school and we're willing to be able to support you in training you to make sure that you can use those funds more efficiently, effectively, and hopefully mitigate the risks that we see.